Before I get into the issues of recusal, Judge Coney Barrett released her opening statement, so I'm going to comment on that. Now, we know that Justice Barrett's previous record and public statements indicate she would vote to strike down the ACA and protections for millions of Americans and overturn Roe, protections for women. Nothing in her opening statement allays those concerns. Nothing in her opening statement allays the concerns America has that she will overturn ACA and hurt people's health care, and she will act to undo Roe v. Wade. So a vote for Judge Barrett is very simple. It's a vote to take health care away from 20 million Americans. It's a vote to strip protections from over 130 Americans with pre-existing conditions, and it's a vote to vastly curtail a women's productive freedom. Ultimately, it's a vote for an activist judge whose mission will be to implement a deeply unpopular, hard-right Republican agenda that will undercut the rights and safety of Americans. Now, okay, now let's go to the issue at hand, recusal. 130 million. Did I say it wrong?
I believe you just said 130.
Okay. So we know that a vote for Judge Barrett, and her statement does nothing to allay those concerns, will be a vote to strip protections from over 130 million Americans who have pre-existing conditions, strip health care from 20 million Americans, raise Medicare drug prices for over 40 million seniors. That's what it will do. Okay, now let's go to the issue of recusal. Well, we all know that the hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, begins tomorrow. But this is a moment unlike any other, because this nominee comes before us with serious conflicts of interest. And we're here today to say that given Judge Barrett's conflicts of interest, she should recuse herself from any decision involving the Affordable Care Act and its protections, and any decision related to the election that we will have on November 3rd. Let me go through those things. What we know about Judge Barrett, two things among a slew of others stand out. First, she has clearly said she'd strike down the Affordable Care Act, and has delivered quality and affordable health care to millions of Americans. Second, President Trump has said that he needs to put her on the high court to possibly help him win re-election in suits that would come before the court after November 3rd. With these serious conflicts, Judge Barrett should immediately do the bare minimum and pledge to recuse herself from the decisions involving the ACA and the 2020 elections. In November, I believe it is November 10th, the court will hear all oral arguments in a challenge to the ACA. So on November 10th, the court is going to hear arguments about whether the ACA, with all its protections, is unconstitutional. Unfortunately, the Trump Justice Department, Republican-appointed lower court judges, have sided with this Republican Attorney General argument to end ACA and strip away health care and pre-existing condition protections for tens of millions of Americans. President Trump's self-imposed litmus test and Judge Barrett's own past statements criticizing the law and the court's decisions as to whether raise serious questions as to whether she can rule fairly at all. For that reason, Judge Barrett should pledge to recuse herself from the case involving ACA a week after the election if she is confirmed. So she doesn't come unbiased, and that's why she should recuse herself. And it's no surprise that President Trump is looking to rush this nomination through to the highest court in the land, because based on her record, it's clear that Judge Barrett has passed the Trump litmus test, which is he only will appoint justices who will repeal the ACA. Only appoint them. And it appears also the president thinks Judge Barrett would support him should the 2020 election be contested in the high court. He has said that I think this will end up in the Supreme Court. And the president's all but shouting from the rooftops that he needs Judge Barrett on the court for his own self-interest. This statement alone and the possible confirmation of Judge Barrett signaled a dire need for recusal because it is blatantly political. So, here's what the president said on 2020 election. Just in case it would be more political than it should be, it's very important to have the 9th justice. He didn't care when Merrick Garland was there that there were only 8 justices, but of course he cares now. So the bottom line is very simple. There's only one conclusion when it comes to Justice Barrett. It's clear there's only one conclusion when it comes to Justice Barrett in regards to her voting on repealing ACA and on deciding the legitimacy of the presidential election. Recusal. Recuse. This is what she should do. There is no question about it. Here's what it says. To disqualify oneself as a judge in a particular case. That's what she should do, and I believe that's what the canons of ethics and all the other legal writings would call for. Okay?
Senator, one thing we just wanted to reiterate that should she be confirmed via a process that's already illegitimate, dangerous,
right. The process is already illegitimate, dangerous, and unpopular. All the more reason she should be recused. She's being rushed through to decide decisions that she's already seems to have made up her mind on. Okay? Questions on this subject? Well, they're going to the hearing, and I will say this, we will talk about when the actual vote occurs in committee and on the floor. Democrats will not supply the quorum, period. Okay?
Anything from the Democrat Party about hacking?
Couldn't hear what he said.
Hacking? Anything back from hacking?
Don't know. Okay? Thank you, everybody.